The central range, or cordillera, of the northern Andes is one of the least hospitable regions of Peru. It's a fitting home for the condor, or the Andean spectacled bear, but not, one would think, for humans. Yet around 700 A.D., a culture is beginning to coalesce on both sides of the cordillera. They will be known as the Chachapoya, and the land they inhabit will be called Chachapoyas. With stubborn determination, they terrace the steep hillsides for their crops. They become great builders and thrive for nearly 800 years as gatekeepers of the low Andean passes on the trade routes between the Pacific coastal deserts to the west and the Amazon basin to the east. The signature of the Chachapoya is their architecture. Most of their buildings are circular with zigzag friezes. Although the region lacks granite boulders to facilitate monumental architecture, the enterprising Chachapoya, with millions of hand-hewn sandstone and limestone shingles, managed to build massive citadels. The Chachapoya revere their dead. They mummify their ancestors' bodies and wrap them in textiles for protection in the afterlife. To keep the mummy bundles from deteriorating, they entomb many of them in dry caves in overhung cliffs.
We find buildings which are called chulpas, and they're very prominent. They're covered very often with red paint and pictographs. They're put there to draw attention to the fact that ancestors are mummified and have been laid to rest there.
I'm sure that the mummies were placed on these places to look out on the territory, to guard the territory for future generations.
Well, it's self-evident that the Chachapoya, in addition to being very talented engineers, were incredibly courageous in the construction of their funerary monuments. They must have either climbed up, used scaffolding, or even quite probably sort of rappelled down from above using ropes.
To make the afterlife comfortable for the ancestors in the tombs, useful objects such as bowls, drinking gourds, and baskets are placed next to them. In accordance with the social status of the deceased, some are adorned with jewelry, perhaps even gold.
The dead were treated almost as if they were alive in many ways. Served food, asked questions. I would imagine they would even be removed. They would perhaps actually be available for consultation in the village.
And in some cases, we know that mummified ancestors were still able to collect taxes and sort of had priesthoods that maintained their cult.
Burial practices in the different regions of Chachapoyas vary. At Carajilla, the mummies are inserted within magnificent sarcophagi. At Lepetaca and Diablo Huasi, multi-storied funerary complexes with doors and windows are constructed for actual display of the mummies.
It was an incredible outlay of energy and to some extent a daunting prospect just to take part in one of these projects. How they did it without losing half their people, I don't know.